Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Maurice Brown Comedy Show on Bog Radio, NFL edition with my main man, hip hop artist Antoine A.S. Stewart. What's up, Stu?
What's going on, Mo?
We're going to be joined. Everything's good. It's all good. Everything is going very well. We're going to be joined later on with Aaron Too Tall Moore a little bit later as we get set to take a look at the goings on in the NFL, more specifically what actually happened this past weekend. A lot of stuff went down. Some people lost their jobs. And we'll start out with the Thanksgiving debacle, if you will, in Detroit as the Lions win 23-20. And a man lost his job in this game. His name is Matt Eberflus. What were your impressions of this ball game?
To be honest, the Bears did better than when I thought they would. It started off a little shaky, a little rocky for them. They were able to get back in the game. Caleb Williams played a great game. For 256 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. They played pretty clean. The biggest thing that stood out to me as far as on the Bears side where they were not able to develop a running game. That's a big thing, especially when you have a rookie quarterback. You have to find ways to run the ball, take a little bit of the pressure off of him. Detroit pulled their rendition of the Kansas City Chiefs squeaking by, because we've been seeing them blow out teams this year, and they had a game to where we thought they were going to blow out the Bears, but they ended up just squeaking by. Jared Goff had an average game, only throwing for 221 yards with 2 touchdowns and no interceptions. They had a decent run game, but it's funny that this was the game that caused it, to all fall down for Chicago because they actually had a decent showing.
So we're going to take a look at the ending of the Bears-Lions game. This is what got Matt Eberflus officially canned as the head coach of the Chicago Bears. We're going to take a look at that this last 15 seconds and come back and talk about it.
15 seconds, 3rd and 26. Caleb's got to make a play here with 11 seconds to go in the game. Awaiting the snap, got to hurry it up. 7-6, takes the snap. Caleb Williams from the pocket, zings it down the field, twisting, turning inside the 5 as time expires for Roma Dunze. That's it. No flags. And the ball game is over.
And just like that, the ball game is over. You got 15 seconds left there. And the clock management going to the 40-second mark till the double zeros or triple zeros on the clock. Totally mismanaged. You got a timeout in your pocket. And they had this game. And to your point, the Bears actually are starting to play good football. And you could argue they outplayed the Lions in the second half. And the Lions should be 10-2. Okay, let's just be 100 about it. They should be 10-2. That game should have at least gone into overtime. Matt Eberflus fired. Was his firing, Stu, long overdue?
Absolutely. I'm surprised he lasted this long. The Bears are not what they used to be. They're kind of all over the place as far as from the head coach and upper level management and stuff like that. Poor game management. With 40 seconds on the clock, you could have ran 4 plays, call a timeout early, put your guys in position, clock it, use all the things, all the tools that you have at your disposal in order to try to get, at least, as you said, a tied ball game. But they weren't able to do that. And that's the story of their franchise. I believe that if they were going to do that, they should have fired him before the draft started. You guys got your pick. That's who you wanted as a quarterback. And now, they're trying to develop him and stuff like that. Firing him. I don't know what they expected. You had Justin Fields. You had more of a veteran presence. a guy who needed an offensive line, who needed some pieces around him to
Yeah.
succeed. You didn't want to build with him, and you get the next Justin Fields, the next Caleb Williams, the next who, the Bears. I don't know if that was the head coach who got fired's call, or if that was the general manager's call. But whoever's call definitely needed some accountability passed around, and I think we got a little taste of that.
I feel bad anytime someone loses their job. You look at what the Bears have done this season. They started out 4-2. And then the debacle in Washington, D.C. occurs. And then you go, okay, they'll come back. You would figure they would bounce back, and I think they got pounded by the Cardinals the next week. I mean, they haven't won since the Hail Mary game. So now the culture in the locker room is going down. And the head coach is responsible for everything on the ball club, including the idiotic mistake that their cornerback, I forget the cornerback's name, that was taunting the crowd in D.C. when they threw the Hail Mary on him. By the way, he tipped it, and it landed in the Washington Commanders receiver's hands. But Matt Eberflus never handled that situation well as they went on this losing skid. And here the Bears are with a chance to beat the Lions. If you look at the way Chicago has played all year, they've been a gaming team. At the end of the day, when you mismanage a clock like that against arguably the best team in the NFL in their house on Thanksgiving Day, and you've got them in your clutches, like you got the the Lions in your clutches, and you let it get away like that, I think your termination was a foregone conclusion. You knew by Friday morning, Saturday morning, certainly no later than Monday morning, he's gone. And the Bears have not done that in their 100-year existence, however long they've been in existence. I mean, they started the NFL. They were there in the beginning of the NFL in 1918. They've never done it. Fired a coach in the middle of the season. That's how bad it was for the Bears. You feel sorry for Caleb Williams because, as you mentioned, Justin Fields, he fell victim to the poor management of the Bears organization. And Caleb Williams has actually started to play pretty well here down the stretch. Last 3-4 games, he played very well. They fired their offensive coordinator, Shane Waldron, brought in a new guy, and he's on the uptick. But the record doesn't reflect any uptick at all. It looks bad on Caleb Williams. So you just hope that, okay, the removal of Eberflus will get him the kind of coach that can kind of help him out. I think Caleb Williams can be a really good quarterback, is what I'm saying. And I feel sorry for him that he's going through what he's going through. But it is what it is. As the NFL goes, these things happen. Let's switch over to Dallas and the Giants. 27-20, also on Thanksgiving Day. A lot of people are going, wow, the Cowboys have a shot to make the playoffs. Let's not start this nonsense about the Cowboys at 5-7 going to the playoffs and Mike McCarthy now deserving to be remain as the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. Did the needle get moved for you at all with Dallas beating the Giants?
Not at all. The Giants, a divisional game. Giants are not world beaters by a long shot. Dallas is supposed to win that game as far as with the talent that's on the field. And they won. It's as simple as that. They didn't beat the Detroit Lions. They didn't beat the Ravens. They didn't beat the Steelers. They beat the Giants. That's what you're supposed to do. Dallas fans are at a point to where anything you give them to cheer for, they're going to cheer for, because that's the type of season they're having, and they got something to cheer for. They beat the Giants, but it's not all this postseason talk and all of that. If they do make it in, if they do squeak in, I don't think anyone's expecting too much from the Dallas Cowboys.
No, I'm not expecting much of anything from the Dallas Cowboys, and it was the New York Giants, for goodness sakes.
Right.
Okay, in Dallas, a team they barely got out there. When the Giants actually almost came back, but let's not waste our time on the Dallas Cowboys. So we look at Green Bay and the Dolphins, 30-17. Green Bay winning a critical game on Thanksgiving night in Lambeau Field. The Dolphins simply cannot play in the cold. It is what it is. They're a good ball club, but anytime they play a tough team, and that tough team in the cold, you can name Kansas City, you can name Baltimore, you can name you can look at the Buffalo Bills. All these are all teams. You can look at the Pittsburgh Steelers. These are all good cold weather teams that if they were to make the playoffs, they're gonna play. And their track record speaks for itself. I mean, they talk about kill the narrative. You got to kill the narrative. You know, you have to prove that they can bully the Titans and the Colts and the dregs of the NFL. No problem. They can bully the Raiders. That doesn't make you a good team. It makes you a team that has to prove that you're good by beating solid ball clubs. You know, it's just kind of like that bully back in the day on the playground. It goes around kicking the little kids around. You know, because there's no big dogs around, right?
Right.
As soon as the big dog shows up, they go run out of the corner. You say that's what the Dolphins are like. You know, they just beat on the little kids. So, you know, so I mean, they got a lot to prove. And then you look at the Green Bay Packers in this game. Green Bay, they have a big one coming up on Thursday night. And they've got to prove, you know, that they could go into Detroit and win this ball game. It's going to be a big game. There's no question about that. Thursday Night Football on Prime Video. That's going to be at 8:15. Green Bay goes into Detroit. What are your thoughts on this matchup, Stu?
Man, it's a great matchup. You know, division, two hot teams right now. Of course, you know, Detroit, they're on fire right now. But I think Green Bay, to be honest with you, are licking their chops because they saw with the hard time that Detroit had with the with the Bears. So y'all 11-1, but y'all barely beat the Bears. So I know that Green Bay feels that they're a better team than the Bears. So they feel like we got a shot, you know. We got a shot to make Detroit 11-2, and you know Green Bay advance to 11-3. It's definitely going to be a great matchup. It's going to come down to who can take care of the football, who can win the turnover battle, who can win the game in the trenches, the offense and defensive line, who can establish their run first. We know that Detroit. They have a two-back system. They have that two-headed monster. You guys, got a great back as well in Jacobs. And it's let the best team win. Let the better man win. It should be a great game, one that I'm looking forward to watching.
Well, I'm definitely looking forward to watching it. I was talking about the Miami Dolphins and how they have to prove that they can show up. It's kind of, you ever seen the film Tombstone?
I was thinking Tomb Raider. You said Tombstone.
Yeah. Tombstone. So. There's a great scene in there where Kurt Russell deals with this bully that's like knocking all the customers around. And then he shows him, what's up. This is who the Miami Dolphins are.
Here, Bill. Keepsake. Hang it over the bar. All right, youngster, out you go.
And that's pretty much how it goes. Anyway, let's okay. Let's move on to the next scores. For the finals this past Sunday in the NFL, we had the Chiefs. Listen, is there any reason to be concerned in Kansas City? The Chiefs once again escape a lower level team, and it was in Kansas City, 1917. On the Friday after Thanksgiving. Is there any reason to be concerned about the Chiefs?
Not really. I mean, they're winning. So, I mean, all they got to do is keep doing what they're doing. They're trying to get that home field advantage in the postseason. And then a new season starts. Everybody's 0-0 in the postseason. And as long as they're winning, no matter if it's by 1 point or 2 points or by a lot of points, a win is a win. I think at this point and at this stage, knowing who we're dealing with and who we're talking about with Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes and company, I don't think anyone's worried about what they got going on. He's trying to three-peat. He already, back-to-back Super Bowl champs. So at this point, it doesn't really matter how they win games. We know that they know how to win, and they've won on the biggest stage there is to win on. So I think it's just one of those things where, let them keep chugging along, and we'll see what else happens.
We have the Chargers go to Atlanta and win 17-13. Kirk Cousins throws 4 interceptions in that game. The Steelers, big time over the Bengals, 44-38. The Vikings over the Cardinals, 23-22. It felt like the Cardinals had this game. They actually should have won the game. Kyler Murray just really played horribly in this game. Had a lot of opportunities to salt that game away, and the Vikings do it again. They win, and they stay close to the Lions at 10-2 with their win over the Cardinals. The Colts, 25-24 over the Patriots. The Seattle Seahawks over the New York Jets, 26-21. Now, Jets had this game, and you felt like Aaron Rodgers was going to do his thing and finally, show that old Aaron Rodgers mystique. And he didn't do it again. And my question to you is the debacle, because that's what it is in New York with Aaron Rodgers right now, the Jets. It's a debacle. But is it all on Aaron Rodgers, or is there accountability to spread around to everybody, the supporting cast, coaches as well?
To me, at this point, it all falls on ownership. That's why I put everything on, because you don't fire a good coach halfway through the season and the best thing y'all had going for y'all. Robert Saleh is a great defensive coach. And the one thing is, up to that point where he got fired, the Jets defense was really, really good. That was the star of their team, the defense. That's what everyone said, that defense. We were waiting for the offense to catch up to the defense.
Yeah.
And then you fire the defensive guru, and then your defense fell off. And now your offense and your defense sucks. So,
yes.
At whose fault is this? If you keep Robert in there and they're playing like this, you have someone to point the blame at, the head coach. This is your team you put together. It's not working. You got to figure it out. The owner then has someone to put the blame on. But once you fire the head coach mid-season and you try to just piece something together yourself, it is what it is at this point. You're dealing with, the reality is, elderly, quarterback in Aaron Rodgers, who's at the end of his ropes. They're trying to throw a Hail Mary, put together something. You would think that when you look at what Peyton did when he was with Denver, the main thing they focused on was the defense. The defense was so ferocious, Peyton didn't have to do much. I'm not saying that this Jets team defense was that good, but they were pretty good to the point where, Aaron shouldn't have to do what he was asked to do in Green Bay when the defense is playing top-notch football. But now you don't have that. So, it puts everyone in a bind, everybody in a bad situation. And when you fire your head coach and you don't really have a legit backup plan, a legit plan B, the whole operation is compromised at this point. And I think the main blame should fall on the ownership, because they made that decision. And now that the chips are falling and everything is happening around them, they're trying to find someone to point the blame at, then the person they should be pointing the blame at is themselves.
I kind of think Aaron Rodgers is getting a bad deal because everybody's putting it all on him. He came in, they gave him the money. There was promises of perhaps a challenge to the Buffalo Bills and Kansas City Chiefs and maybe make a run at the Super Bowl. I get all of that, but it takes 11 guys to make it happen. Okay.
Yeah.
And to your point, which is kind of funny, an elderly quarterback, which he's the oldest player in the NFL by virtue of his 41st birthday a couple of days ago. You cannot, and he's coming off an ACL tear. So you got to help this man out. Guys got to play harder. Defense has got to do their job. Highly touted defense. I mean, what does Jeff Ulbrich have to do? Hold your hand? Since he's now the head coach, you can't hold your hand anymore. Those guys know what they're supposed to do. So I think it's unfair, really, to put all the blame on Aaron Rodgers because, again, it takes 11 guys on both sides of the ball to get it done. And there have been it's just been a typical New York Jets year. The organization sucks. And it's just is what it is. It's just not all on one guy. And I think it's unfair what they have done by blaming him for all of their problems. We're going to move on and look at some other scores from last week. We were talking about the Seahawks and Jets. The Commanders did what they were supposed to do to the Titans, 42-19. There's no reason to get super excited about this win. It's dadgum Titans, okay? That's what you're supposed to do to them. And they get credit for doing what they were supposed to do. And they keep their playoff hopes alive, strongly alive. Houston and the Jaguars, Houston keeps their playoff hopes alive, 23-20. Now, there was a controversy in this game. Azeez Al-Shaair, cornerback for the Houston Texans, comes up and hits – what's that?
Linebacker.
Okay, linebacker. Comes up and he hits a quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, who's surrendering with a slide. Okay, and the ruling on the field is when a quarterback surrenders himself with a baseball slide, you can't hit him. And I understand when you're coming full speed and the quarterback gives himself up, it's kind of hard when you've already launched yourself and then he starts to slide. It's kind of hard to pull up at that point. Like, I'm going to knock your head off right now. I'm sorry. I appreciate your slide, but I'm going to knock your head off. Okay. And so it is what it is. Now they suspended Shaair for 3 games. And my question to you, and I get it, the rule is what the rule is. You're ejected. In my opinion, let's just leave it at that. Do not penalize this man for playing football. Is a 3-game suspension excessive for this hit on Trevor Lawrence?
Absolutely. Absolutely excessive. One thing is, and I'll speak on Azeez because, he did come from the 49ers. I know he's a great ball player. He's a hard-nosed player. He's not a dirty player.
Right.
The rule is dirty. They need to stop the rule. The rule is getting people hurt. The rule is getting quarterbacks hurt because when you have a quarterback like Tom Brady say that they need to fix this rule, because quarterbacks, what they're doing is they're using the rule to their advantage and not just as to slide and give themselves up, but they're looking at the sticks. They're seeing where that first down marker is. Instead of sliding where they should be sliding to make sure they don't get hurt, they're pushing it a couple more steps and then get the first down. Now let me slide real quick. By that time, the defender is already launched. He's trying to make a tackle.
Yeah.
We have seen quarterbacks abuse this, like Patrick Mahomes, to where they act like they're running out of bounds and then they juke back in and run up the sideline or play these games.
Do it all the time.
So what is a defender supposed to do? At the moment a quarterback decides that they want to be a running back, all bets are off. All this give up and slide. Running backs can't do that. It's called run out of bounds. If you can run out of bounds, run out of bounds. Or if you want to dive on the ground, dive on the ground. But all this sliding, you can't get hit mess is putting quarterbacks in bad situations when they do it at the last minute and that defender has already started trying to make a tackle or stop. And now he's not the Matrix. He's not Neo. He can't stop his body in midair and roll to the side. And then that's what happens. You get bad hits. It wasn't egregious. He was trying to make a tackle or make a play, and the quarterback actually gambled to get the first down and slid late, which caused the impact that it did. So in my book, he shouldn't even be a flag shouldn't be drawn, because the quarterback, you cannot do that late and expect to reap the benefits of it. But it's a quarterback driven league. I think they should do away with the whole slide thing altogether. That way, quarterbacks will think twice and understand that I'm probably going to get hit. So let me brace. Because when you don't brace and you're thinking, oh, he's not going to hit me, and he's going to hit you, the injuries usually are worse because you're not even trying to protect yourself at that point. So I think it's egregious. I don't think he should get 3 days. I don't even think a flag should be drawn because he's trying to make a tackle. You slid late. What is he supposed to do as a defender? It's so unfair for the defenders, but I get it. They want to score points. They don't care about the defenders, but that's my stance on it.
Yeah, I think they're going to have to change this rule because the Texans are going to be affected without him on the field. I mean, he's their best hitter and arguably one of the best hitters in the NFL. And without him for 3 games, you got 3 critical games coming up for Houston. And they're trying to, get a playoff positioning solid because we're coming down the home stretch of the season. So this is going to hurt Houston. I think they have to change the rule. Look, we're not playing football anymore. They've been trying to protect the quarterback for a long time. And last time I checked, he's a football player too. So if I get my mitts on you, you're going to pay the price, just like everybody else on this field. All right. I'm sorry. I mean, you think about back in the day with guys like Roger Staubach and Terry Bradshaw, Joe Montana, go back to Joe Montana, Steve Young during their era, Dan Marino. Okay. These guys paid the price, dude. I mean, and they were great quarterbacks. So what the NFL is trying to do is protect the quarterback so their numbers can go up. But no. I don't like the rule either, and it's going to make it really difficult for guys to play football if they have to make sure they don't harm the quarterback. And like you said, the quarterback plays with the rule. It's like, okay, I'm going to go a couple of more yards, then I'm going to duck down, or I'm going to go get this first down. And you're thinking as a defender, gosh, if I hit him, I could get flagged. And a lot of first downs are made because that rule is hanging out there. And the quarterbacks are taking advantage of it. So I do agree with you on that. I think it was unfair. 3 games for playing football. You suspended this man 3 games. There's nowhere in the rule book where it says if you violate this rule that you get suspended. Okay.
It's funny. If I'm not mistaken, I believe he was suspended. I know this is kind of off topic, more games than Ray Rice was for hitting his fiance, now his wife. I think Ray Rice was originally suspended for 2 games and before the video came out.
And she had a pretty good right hook in her own right. Anyway, let's leave that alone. I'm with you.
Yeah.
Because she could
3 games for football play.
Hey, she could bang, dude. She could hit anyway, but hey, Stu, I do agree with you. There's no question about it. Let's keep looking at some of these final scores from last Sunday. So then we had the Bucks in overtime beat the Panthers 26-23. Bryce Young's been playing a lot better lately.
Yeah,
I got to give him a lot of credit. We look at the Eagles 24-19, the game of the week. Outside of Green Bay and Miami, which didn't turn out to be that great of a game, was the Eagles and the Ravens. The Eagles 24-19, that was the final score. Now we're starting to look at the Eagles as a team that could challenge the Detroit Lions. So much so, would the question be apropos to ask, are the Eagles looking like now the new NFC favorites and maybe looking like a team that's ready for a return trip to the Super Bowl?
They're definitely looking like a team that's ready to make a run in the postseason. I'm a big fan of to be the man, you've got to beat the man. In order for them to become, in my opinion, the favorites, they have to beat Detroit.
Okay.
But definitely Philly is showing that sitting at 10-2, they are not to be played with. They don't care whose house it is. They don't care where they got to go to get it, but the big dog going to eat. And that's what they've been doing. So they're right there on Detroit's heels. They're saying that we're for real, with the addition of Saquon. that was the magic piece that had everything clicking, because last season they were looking like they didn't know what was going on. This year they're looking like the Eagles that we were accustomed to seeing under Hurts and company. So I think he just saved his head coach a job, and how they've been playing. But hats off to them. I'm excited, for the competition. I know Washington is right there. They're like, hold on, we still here. But I think that Philly is 2 and Detroit is 1 right now as far as in the NFC.
So we had Buffalo and San Francisco in the Sunday night game of the week. And I actually thought they might flex this game because the 49ers are so banged up. But they did start Purdy. And I thought, okay, well, they might do something. But it didn't seem to make any difference as they got pounded in the snow by Buffalo 35-10. Does this spell the end of the 49er season in your mind?
Yeah, it's done. It's done. Yeah, I didn't think we were going to win this game, especially when I saw that snow and the elements.
Yeah.
Knowing how banged up we were.
Yeah.
And we left the game worse shape than what we entered the game in. McCaffrey going down again. This time he's done for the season again. We had so many injuries already, so many people not playing. It's just been a complete, total debacle, the 49ers this year. So many things happening off the field, with the loss of 2 players just lost their child. Trent Williams just lost. His wife was supposed to give birth to a child. He rest in peace to his beautiful angel. Ward lost his child. And then with all the injuries that's happening, all the off-field stuff, it's just like, let's just hit the reset button. As I mentioned on the previous show, it wasn't this bad, but after we went to the Super Bowl in 2019, 2020, we didn't even make the playoffs. So it seems like every time we make the Super Bowl, the year following that is not a good year. And this has been a horrendous year. We know the type of team we have and the type of talent we have when everyone's healthy. No one's healthy. And you're seeing that's just what we have to give. Purdy's banged up, Kittle's banged up, Debo's banged up, Trent's banged up. All the big wigs are banged up. We got people that are supposed to be coming back. They might as well just hold tight. Let the 3rd, 4th streamers get some playing time in and see what we got, who's behind these guys. Because in my personal opinion, even though I know schematically it's not over, but in my book, it's over for the 49ers this year. Pack it up. Ain't no point in getting nobody else seriously injured. See what you got as far as in the backups, so that we can get them some playing time when they usually wouldn't get that type of time, to see like, okay, you're going to be on the team next year, and start getting that draft board together and start figuring out what you're going to do next year. I know that they get paid millions of dollars. They still have a job to do this year, but it should be more evaluation and less putting players that are already banged up at more risk for next year.
So we look at, you couldn't have said it better. We look at the Broncos and the Browns on Monday Night Football, and Denver wins this game 41-32, basically by virtue of a little help from the opposing quarterback and Jameis Winston. He threw four touchdowns for Cleveland, and then he threw 2 more for Denver. I think he threw 2 pick sixes and an INT. He threw for like over 400 yards.
Almost 5.
Actually, you could probably say about 500, 600 yards if you count the 2 pick sixes for Denver. And so my question to you is do we give more credit to Jameis Winston? I think someone's already answered that question for us. Or do we give credit to the Broncos and Bo Nix? Who gets more credit? Bo Nix or Jameis Winston for the Bronco win?
I think that Broncos defense, that's been the one consistent thing. And this is what I mentioned earlier with, when with Aaron Rodgers' situation, when you have a legit defense and you see what's going on with Chicago, defense matters. When you have a rookie quarterback or you have an elderly quarterback or quarterback is struggling, you don't want to put too much on. Having a top 2, top 3 defense matters. And that's exactly what Denver has. Yeah, Bo Nix threw 2 picks of his own. But, it didn't really matter because that defense got 2 pick six and another additional pick from him. So that defense is keeping him in the games to where that rookie, he can make his little mistakes and stuff like that, and it doesn't come to bite him in the butt because of how well that defense is playing. And they are a well-coached team as well, to where the mistakes they do make they're not fatal mistakes because that defense is playing complementary football to that offense and getting them off the hook.
So we welcome to the show Aaron Too Tall Moore. Aaron, what's going on, buddy?
Hey, what's going on, fellas?
What's up? Howdy.
I was able to get on, man. It's been a long day.
We were just talking about the Cleveland Brown Denver Bronco game on Monday night, where Jameis Winston threw 6 touchdowns, 4 for Cleveland, 2 for Denver. Do we give more credit to him for that win for the Broncos, or are the Denver Broncos for real?
I think the Denver Broncos are getting there. I wouldn't say they for real, but I mean the defense is playing well. I mean, Jameis Winston gave him the ball 3 times. I mean, that could help. And two went, 2 went for TDs. So that's I mean, that's what Jameis Winston does, though. I mean, he can put up yards and points, but he's gonna get the ball away. But I would say Sean Payton, though, he's doing a hell of a job over there with Bo Nix in that offense. But I think that defense is playing well. I give more credit to the defense, but I wouldn't say they for real yet, but I will say they on their way.
Well, I tell you, man, they do look like they're on their way. I tell you what, that last pick 6 that Jameis threw, he started after that corner. He tried to catch a cornerback like he had stole his bucket of crabs or something. Anyway, that being said, dude, Denver's 8-5, and they've got a great shot now to get a strong spot as a wild card. And so you're kind of impressed by them. I want to take a look at the Power 5 in the league right now. And my Power 5 in the NFC, I've got the Lions #1, followed by the new big dog on the block, Philadelphia, the Vikings, the Packers, and the Commanders. Stu, your thoughts on this list?
I think you got a pretty good list there. Realistically, let me see the Packers. Yeah, I mean, I like the Packers better than the Vikings, but I understand Vikings are 1 game above the Packers, so
right.
That's why you did that.
They also beat the Packers straight up.
Right. So, yeah, I think that's a good list, man. I think Aaron should be happy that his Commanders are in the top 5, and I think that the top 2, man, they really showing that they are the big dogs right now. They earned it, but yeah, I can't say nothing bad about that list.
Too Tall, what do you think?
I like the list, but the funny thing when you pull this list up is, even though the Lions are the favorite and they are the favorite, especially going to the NFC Championship and the Super Bowl, in my opinion. But frankly, like Stu says all the time, playoffs, you only need to win 1 game.
Right.
But all these teams that's up here, I could see each team beating each team, if you understand what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah. That's no question.
I could see it. I could see it. I could see the Packers upsetting the Lions. I could see Commanders upsetting the Eagles. I could see that. That's a good list, but I have no problems with that list. I have no problems where you put everybody at, and but just the way the list is set up, I could see upsets happen in that list.
Now, I got the Lions #1 by virtue of being 11-1, but the scariest team to me on this list is Philadelphia because the way Saquon Barkley is playing is taking a lot of pressure off of Jalen Hurts. And we know what Jalen can do if he's doing Jalen Hurts stuff. And their defense is – I mean, the Eagles look really scary to me. And I like what you said about the 5 teams. Like on any given day, any one of these teams could win, could beat each other. Any one of these teams. I mean, the Commanders had a shot about 3-4 weeks ago in Philadelphia. And for a moment, that game could have gone either way. Plus, Jaden was hurt. He had injured himself. He had injured his throwing hand. And you kind of give the Commanders a pass for not winning that one. But I agree with you. That one right there, either one of these teams could beat each other. I look at the AFC, and I got the Chiefs #1, Bills 2, Steelers 3, Ravens 4, and Chargers 5. Stu, your thoughts on the AFC?
I like that list. You know, I would say, you know, we might want to put the Bills #1 only because they beat the Chiefs in the head-to-head matchup. I know the Chiefs had a better record. That's their only loss. But other than that, that's the only thing that I would throw in there that'd be interesting to see. But I like the list from top to bottom. I think those are the top 5 teams. I think the Texans, they want to try to, you know, knock the Chargers off that list and kind of creep in there. But I think the Chargers are playing better ball right now than Houston is. And I think that the Bills are playing the best ball out of all those teams. You know, the Chiefs have been able to squeak by wins, but that's enough. That's all they got to do. All the Chiefs got to do is get home field advantage. They get home field advantage. We all know playoffs is a different mode. Patrick Mahomes, I think that he's going to click in. Him and Andy Reid are going to lock into a different mode. No need for them to lock into that mode right now. They're winning games, even though by a little bit, but they're winning not in that mode right now. So I think everything's going to be interesting, and I'm really interested to see if the Bills, Josh Allen particularly, is able to really show up in the postseason and go ahead and take this thing away from Patrick Mahomes when it matters the most.
If there was ever a year that it would happen, this would seem to be that year. Too Tall, your thoughts on the AFC Power 5?
I like it. And I know Stu said put the Bills in front of the Chiefs, but I like the Chiefs still stay, even though they did beat them, but they have to beat them. They have to beat them when it counts.
Yeah,
they have to beat them when it counts, and they haven't done that yet. And until they do that, and like you said, I think this is year. But and also I could see the Steelers upsetting the Bills. I could see the Ravens upsetting the Bills. Yeah, I could see the Ravens upsetting the Bills. So, the only team I don't really see upset somebody is the Chargers, even though they can, but I just don't. I don't see the Chargers making a move unless they play the Ravens or something. But because the Ravens, for some reason, every time you put hope in them, they fail you for some reason. I don't understand it, but but I still give the edge to the Chiefs. But I like the grouping. I like when you rank them, and but I still give the edge to the Chiefs, even though the Bills beat them.
Well, the Chargers are, to me, a little bit better than the current version of the Miami Dolphins. Like, they're good, but they're not a back alley brawl team. When you start punching them and banging on them, they kind of go down. And that was proven against the Baltimore Ravens. I mean, you can kind of bully the Chargers can be bullied a little bit. Not majorly, but you know what I mean? I don't know that they're in that top 4. And that's why I look at the Ravens, and I look at the Baltimore Ravens, and I'm like, Todd Monken is sinking their ship. You tell me you only give Derrick Henry, your battering ram, 13, I think he had 13, 14 touches against Philly. I mean, so I don't know what Baltimore's doing. I have no faith in the Ravens. And then you look at the Steelers, and it's like Russell Wilson showed everybody, I can still ball. I mean, and you can see the upgrade from Justin to Russell. Like, no hate against Justin. Justin played well. They were 4-2. But with Russell, they're even better. And he's playing the kind of football offensively that you're going to need to play to beat these tougher teams. And so but Buffalo, I mean, they got that trade with Amari Cooper, dude, and that was all Josh needed to avoid, that hospital situation. And so I don't know, man, but I as long as Kansas City has home field, not going to bet against them. Not going to bet against them. So we look at some of the comments here. Brandon Hallam says Shair's hit Sunshine so hard he no longer remembers the Titans. Hey, man, he put it on Sunshine, Brandon. There's no question about that, dude. As a matter of fact, they just put him on IR. He's going to be out for 4 weeks.
Quick question. Did y'all talk about that hit? Did y'all get in that before I came on? Y'all did?
I went off.
We talked about the hit. I'd love to get your impressions on it because our conclusion was you're talking about a defender that has already launched himself, and it's you can't just pull up like that. I mean, I'm already in the act of taking your head off, and okay, the rule is the rule. You can't suspend him for 3 games. But what's your opinion?
No. I agree with that. I just think it's one of them bang plays because how many times have you seen Patrick Mahomes look like he was about to go out of bounds and the defender hold up and then he fake real quick and then he scurry for another 10, 15 yards and then go out. So it's like you putting the defender kind of like in a box like, oh, shoot, can I hit him? Or is he going out? Is he going down? And then I just think they need to they need to play with that rule. And he's not a dirty player. I don't understand. Okay, if you want to suspend him for a game because he hit, okay, suspend him for a game. But 3 games, I didn't understand that.
Yeah, I thought it was excessive. I don't think he should have been suspended a single game.
Me either.
Because the reality is the rule says if you hit a guy that's giving himself up, you're ejected. And he doesn't have a dirty player history. Nope. So just eject him from the game. I think the Jags did the right thing. They defended their guy. Hey, yo, man, what are you doing? The fight. That's what guys are going to do. I mean, fights are going to happen. But you don't suspend the guy because he did that. Brandon Allen says Aziz was waiting on the first down marker. Lawrence ran 20 yards straight to him. See, that's another thing, too. Because these guys, these quarterbacks, they take advantage of the rule. It's like, yo, you're supposed to go down. Oh, but I'm going to get these 2 extra yards and get this first down while the defender's like going, should I hit him? And so you're taking away the aggression from the defense.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, this is football, man. This is a violent game. Everybody gets to get hit. There's no exceptions. I don't care. You want to give the quarterback a dress? Okay, give him a dress.
They might as well put a flag on the quarterback. So you just yank the flag off, and that's it. They down.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, so anyway, it was bad. Shair got a bad deal. And again, like I said before, it's going to affect Houston. He's their best hitter, and he's out for 3 games.
Yeah.
And so it could come back to bite them, man. I just didn't agree with it. We're going to move on, guys, to the games, the matchups we got coming up this weekend. We've got some really good matchups. Let's see. I got my man Brandon make another comment. Yeah, why is he suspended? NFLPA head is a former Titan offensive lineman with another voting member in Mawai being a Titan O lineman. And the one reviewing the appeal was an O lineman who is on the let me see what else he continues his comment, who is on the Titans media payroll. His boss hates the Texans. Well, I mean, that could be a lot of truth to that as well. I can't dispute that on any level. Let's look at the game tomorrow night, Thursday Night Football. We got my boys, the Packers, in Detroit at 8:15 on Prime Video. Stu, once again, your thoughts on this matchup?
Yeah, man, this is a great game. This is a great matchup. Not only is it a divisional game, but you got two of the top teams in the NFC. I'm hoping your boys can upset Detroit, man, but they're
Yeah.
gonna have to bring it because Detroit is not going to go in there and lay down. They're going to do what they do. You guys are going to do what you guys do, and may the best man win. It's going to come down to turnovers.
Yeah.
Whoever wins the turnover battle, whoever's able to take care of the football and make the least amount of mistakes as far as penalties and playing a clean game is probably going to win this game because both teams are kind of evenly matched. Both are going to try to establish the run. Both are going to try to take their shots downfield. Defenses are going to be trying to get plays, trying to get a pick. So it's going to be big on holding on to that football. Quarterbacks not putting the ball in danger. Running backs not fumbling the ball, trying to play a clean game. Whoever is able to do that should come up with the win.
Well, I'm going to be totally honest with you as you look at this matchup. I mean, you said clean game. And high scoring, Brandon, it very well could be. But the Packers' problem is they don't play clean. When you're playing against these lesser teams, we can even put a backup in there and win against these lesser teams. We did it twice with Malik Willis. But when you get a team like Detroit, who's a big dog team that doesn't make a lot of mistakes, this is what kills Green Bay. If you look at the last game that we played at Lambeau Field, they beat us 24-14. If you look at the stat line, we doubled the yardage on offense. I think Detroit had 200-some yards on offense. We had 411 yards on offense. The Lions had 17 first downs. We had 20 first downs. We won the possession battle, all of that. But you're throwing a pick six. You have 2 touchdowns dropped. You got 10 penalties. You can't beat Detroit like that, man. And that's why Detroit's the better team. Going back to your point, Stu, they play clean football. Champions play clean football. Too tall. Your thoughts?
I agree with Stu. It's going to come down to turnovers, and I think the Packers defense is going to have to step up and slow that Lions offense down. If they could do that, they might have a chance. I think it's going to be tight, especially Lions at home, but and they got a lot of weapons, man. They got a lot of weapons that could hurt you. So it's going to be a good game, though.
That's probably the game, no question, the game of the week. Once again, that's Thursday night, 8:15, Prime Video, Green Bay at Detroit. On Sunday, we got the Jags and the Titans, Jets and the Dolphins. Aaron Rodgers now says he's going to play all 17 games. And I respect him for that. Like, why not finish the year out? I mean, hey, man up, see what you can do. The Falcons and the Vikings I find intriguing. Here we have Kirk Cousins showing up in Minnesota. I need the Vikings to lose the goddamn game as an NFC North guy. I need them to lose. Anyway, but the Falcons coming in with Kirk Cousins. I think this is a dangerous game for the Vikings. Stu, your thoughts? Well,
Kirk Cousins is going to have to turn into Captain Kirk. He wants to pull off this win. The Vikings are they're going to come in. That defense is real. Kurt hasn't been playing his best football over the past few weeks. They're going to have to figure it out. Get back to the Atlanta team that was winning early on. It just so happens that they're playing against a really good defense this week, and Kurt is again. He's going to have to play clean football. But also he's going to have to take some shots. He's going to have to get back to doing what he does and throwing the ball downfield. And his guys are going to have to bail him out and make some plays. I don't see Atlanta doing that this week. I see Minnesota being able to take care of business at home, and they're going to be blowing that trumpet all night long.
Well, number one, I can't stand that stupid Viking horn. Number two, I got to be honest with you. I agree with you. I think the Vikings are going to win the game. I think when you look at Sam Darnold and the way he's playing within that Viking offense, I think Kirk Cousins benefited from Kevin O'Connell's offensive design. And when you look at him in Atlanta, where he's kind of like on his own autonomy as a quarterback and letting Kirk be Kirk, you're getting what you get with Kirk. And they're what, 6-5, 6-6. I don't see them going into Minnesota and winning this game. Too tall. Your thoughts?
I don't either. I think, and O'Connell knows what Kurt doesn't like, so I'm sure he's going to tell the defensive coordinator. I mean, they know, and I think they're going to take care of business. I think they're going to get out quick on the Vikings, and especially if Kirk has a game he did last week, throwing all them picks. But now he can get hot at times, but I don't see it this week. I got the Vikings taking care of business.
I got the Vikings taking care of business, and because they love Kirk so much, they'll give him an honorary baby horn. Anyway, let's look at the other games coming up. As a matter of fact, we got they're insignificant. The Saints and Giants, why bother? The Panthers and Eagles, blowout. Browns, Steelers. I mean, Pittsburgh should be able to get back at Cleveland, what happened a few weeks ago. Raiders, Bucks, yawner. Seahawks, Cardinals. Good NFC West tilt at 4:05 on Sunday. We got the Bills and the Rams at 4:25 on Sunday. That could be an interesting game. They'll probably go into SoFi and knock the Rams out. The Bears and 49ers at 4:25 as well. And then the game, I believe, of the week, Sunday Night Football. The Chargers take on the Chiefs at 8:15 on NBC. Stu, your thoughts on this match?
Oh man, this is going to be another great one. I didn't know they were playing them again next soon. So I think that the Chargers are going to take care of business and lose.
Yeah,
I got the Chiefs winning, man. The Chiefs, it seems like every week they find a way to get it done.
Yeah.
I believe that this week will be no different. They'll find a way to squeak out a win by 3 points or do whatever it is they have to do. The Chargers are not the Bills. I will say that again. The Chargers are not the Bills.
Correct.
The only team that was able to beat them this year. I believe the Chiefs go ahead and take care of business at home, but I'll be hoping for an upset. Hope the Chargers can get them. I wouldn't bet on it.
Too tall. Your thoughts?
It's not happening. This game's already over. It ain't start yet. It's gonna be cold out there. I think the Chiefs gonna lean on that running game, and Mahomes gonna do what he do. But I don't see this being close.
So
in my opinion.
I don't think it'll be close either. We've got Brandon Hallam saying Jared Verse and Brandon Fisk on the Falcons, and their team looks very different. I also like the comment he made about the fact that the Falcons paid Kirk Cousins big money, and the Vikings paid virtually nothing to Sam Darnold, and they're getting championship production out of him. So, Brandon, great point. Kevin O'Connell is an underrated head coach. The guy's really good. If you look at his time in Minnesota, he's really a very good coach. So,
Kirk Cousins
Brandon,
is
excellent commentary. What's up, Stu?
I said Kirk Cousins is a finesser. He should write a book how to finesse opponents out of money, because no matter where he goes, he gets paid well and he never gets the job done.
Oh yeah, he's a Don Corleone of the NFL, man. There's no question about that. And then Monday night we've got the Cowboys and the Bengals, which is really a waste of time too. You got two teams going in the wrong direction, and that's going to be on Monday Night Football. ESPN.
Wrong way to go.
What's that?
I said the wrong way to go, starring Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah. Oh, this matchup is so bad the screen won't even let me put it up. So we're gonna get out of here. It's like, hey, we're not even gonna talk about that. So no, we're gonna get out of here. We got some great matchups coming on this weekend, and start tomorrow, Thursday night. The Green Bay Packers and Detroit Lions, Prime Video 8:15. We're gonna get out of here, guys. If you're coming in at the very end and you're like, man, I missed it, catch us on Spotify and where all major podcasts are heard. And if you've enjoyed the video, also like it and share it and subscribe to the Maurice Brown Comedy Hour. So we're going to get out of here. Thanks for watching and listening to bogradio.fm every Monday through Friday, the Maurice Brown Comedy Show at 9 a.m. Eastern on bogradio.fm. So For Aaron Tuttle Moore and hip hop artist Antoine A.S. Stewart, we're out of here. May the peace of Jesus Christ be with you and your families, everybody. God bless.